Good afternoon and welcome back. Good afternoon. Tony, hi, how are you?
I am well. How are you? Can you hear me okay?
I think we can. Oh, my speaker was.
Yes, we can.
We can. Yes.
Okay, good.
Thank you, Tony, for being here with us. We are happy that you were able to make it. So everyone, thank you again for joining our second session. This is Tony Jackson. He is the founder of the Real Money Coach. He has about over 24 years of experience in financial. So Tony, if you can introduce yourself a little bit more, tell us a little bit more about the company, that would be great.
All right. I will certainly do that. It is a pleasure to be a part of the 23rd annual business. And you got to think about it. We're in North Carolina. That number 23 means something in North Carolina, right? So, okay. So we love it. And we're really happy to be here. I am going to turn on my screen and I think I need to be given capabilities to do that. There we go. All right, awesome. So let's see here. I just want my regular screen, but we're going to try this. All right. So I'm going to be sharing my presentation here, tell you a little bit about the Real Money Coach and what we're going to do today. We're going to talk about some numbers and man, I think it's really interesting as we get together and there's people from so many different parts of the state and all over. So again, it's just really awesome to be here. Thank you guys for the invitation. And let me tell you just a little bit and just making sure we got our technology and everything is in place and running for us. And Tony Jackson, who am I? So I'm the owner of Tony Jackson Agency, and that has been for 24 years now. Time has gone by really, really fast. And man, it's just advancing the wrong direction. There we go. Okay. So since 1991, started an agency, spent most of that time in Michigan, top producer in the country in terms of insurance, retirement, mutual funds, and all those types of things. So really, just had a great career. I'm executive director and founder of the Real Money Coach. And that's really my passion. It has been for years. And our primary function as the Real Money Coach is financial literacy, financial education. That's what we're all about in terms of teaching, whether it's in the nonprofit sector, the private sector, or wherever we get an opportunity to share financial literacy, financial education. That's what we want to do. I am a certified financial education instructor, which basically means that I'm certified in teaching financial education and licensed in more than 20 states, and kind of pride myself on creating tax-free retirement strategies. I'm also ordained minister, but most proudly, I am a husband, father, and grandfather. So that is about me. A little bit about Real Money Coach and my partner, Marlon Smith. Many of you may have known Marlon, pretty active in the community around North Carolina. Together, we have over 60 years of business experience, programs, 45 states, 18 countries, and it is real, okay? Real Money Coach. The real is for acronym, which means relevant, educational, actionable, and life-changing. And so our desire is always to deliver that type of information to those of you who will come out and hear us and be a part of what we're doing. And let's talk about what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to spend really about the next 15, 20 minutes talking to you about knowing your numbers. Very important. So many times we want access to capital. We want, and she did a wonderful job, breaking down the capability statements and all those type of things, but we want access to capital. And so we're going to talk a little bit about budgeting. We're going to talk about account management, record keeping tools and strategies, touch just a little bit on personal versus business credit profiles, and then how do you, what we call 5 C's to capital resources, 5 C's to having access to capital. So, and you guys just feel free to be active in the chat box. I have it up so I can see them. When we think about a budget, right? And it's so important as part of what we do as business owners, whether we are a solopreneur or whether we're LLC or a corporation or whatever that happened to be, is we got to have a grip on these things, right? Income, expenses, and saving. And you said, why savings as a business owner? You know, isn't that more what we think about for, you know, on the personal side? But as we know, as we've gone through the last year and a half, if you were well capitalized, if you had savings, if you had revenue that was set aside, it was much easier to get through some of the things that we've just experienced in 2020 and into even here 2021. So, you know, I guess I need to check and make sure. Can you guys see my screen okay? Is it full presentation mode for you?
It's not in full presentation mode.
Okay, let's see. Let's stop sharing. Let's go back and reshare. Should be able to share just the desktop. All right, let's see. Give me just a second to figure out. That should have been the full. Sorry about this, guys. You know, technology, but we should be sharing. For some reason, it's not giving me that option, which is very strange. Still just doing that. I may end up just kind of going on with it the way it is, because for some reason today it doesn't want to cooperate and allow me to show my full screen so that it wouldn't be in the presentation mode. But if you guys are okay with it and we can make it through it, let's just continue, I suppose. And now it's not showing it at all, is it?
No, I don't see it. Is it blank?
Yeah, it's just, okay. That is different. All right. Screen share. Okay. If you guys don't mind, I'll just keep going for here for the sake of time.
Yeah, that's fine.
Just knowing your expenses, your debt, all those types of things is very important in this budget process, in the process of, you know, knowing your numbers. And so when we think about budgeting and things, that reason why that's so important is it gives you control. So as a business or as a business owner, having a budget or spending plan really puts you in better control of exactly what's going to happen. And so the number two, it keeps you focused towards your financial goals. So when we know where we are, and we talk about things like QuickBooks and other different type of accounting software, having a bookkeeper, those types of things is very important. So having those budget things in place and having that structure helps you focus on your goals, the goals that you want. Helps you be aware of where your money's going. Even as a business owner or business, actually having a budget and knowing where our dollars are being spent, where we have things allocated to, really helps us, again, to know exactly where our dollars are going. and it helps you save for the unexpected and also the expected costs. And as we know that as we went into last year, and I use that as an example, because obviously, you know, COVID-19 changed a lot of things for a lot of us. But, you know, now we're spending money on, you know, PPE and different things like that. So having a budget can kind of help us to plan for those unexpected things, clarifies the areas where we might be able to save money, where we can add to our bottom line. And so we want to make sure that we're doing that, and that we're fully aware of where our business is sitting financially. And then the dangers of not having a budget is we simply could be overspending. And that could be happening in a number of different ways. If we're not tracking things, we could be overspending in different areas of supplies we may have for our business, or we may be overspending in areas that we don't need to. And on the flip side of that, we may also be underspending in areas. You know, we may be underspending in advertising. We may be underspending in business acquisition type costs. Whereas if we know what we're doing, we know what our budget is, we're watching what we're spending, we're watching you know, the revenues and expenses, that can certainly help us in that area. Falling into a debt cycle. We don't want to, a lot of times when we think about capitalizing our business, we're automatically thinking about how can I get a loan? Well, if we have a budget, we may realize that we don't need a loan. Maybe there's grants, maybe there's other ways to that we can capitalize our business and be able to expand other than taking on debt. But again, having a budget helps us to keep all those things in perspective. Not having a budget could limit our spending power. And what we mean by that is when opportunities come along, we may not be able to take advantage of those opportunities because we don't have a budget. And we know many businesses missed out on the PPP money that were available. And so we want to make sure that we're on top of those things so that we can take advantage of opportunities when they do present themselves. Now, this is one that I think is always very important, is when we're looking at scale and we think about different things, we're thinking about whether or not, how do we do it versus a new business owner versus a seasoned business owner. You know, one of the things is, how do you pay yourself? Oftentimes I've seen new business owners just pay themselves too soon, too much, because, you know, this is business. They've been wanting to do this their whole life, etc. But there's certainly a difference of how much you pay yourself as a new business owner versus a seasoned business owner. And then what about do it yourself versus contracting? You know, many things as a new business owner, you may be doing it yourself, whereas a seasoned business owner, you're contracting those things out. And it's a matter of finding that balance, because there becomes a time when it costs you more to do it yourself because you're taking away from your income generating activities, perhaps. And so now it's time to contract it out. Legal matters, I only have one area there because that's so specialized. It's legal matters isn't something we should be taking on ourselves. Legal matters, I think that is something that we need to make sure. It's awfully important that we have a good attorney, we have good legal advice. And so that's not something, I think it's not one of those do-it-yourself types of things. And then funding your business. Once again, as a new business owner, the ways I fund my business could be much different than when I'm a seasoned business owner. Bookkeeping. We know there's great apps out there. There's QuickBooks. There's a number of different ones. QuickBooks is the one that comes to mind first for most people. But there's many different bookkeeping apps and different things out there. And there's, as a new business owner, maybe you're keeping some of that yourself. Maybe you are doing those things yourself, whereas as a seasoned business owner, or when your business begins to expand and grow, and it's more than what you can do on a quarterly basis or a monthly basis with, you know, yourself and turning those over to bookkeeper, maybe now you need to contract out bookkeeping. And then I put in here paid in full. It actually can do a lot for your business credit when you're paying your bills in full, when you're, you know, subscriptions or things that you might need, rather than getting them on terms, to be able to pay them in full. Whereas a new business owner, you may not have the cash flow to do that. And so we want to just make sure as we grow, we can take advantage of some of those things. We can take advantage of discounted invoices by paying them in certain time frames and those type of things. And the big one for me is quitting your job. Many of us, we start our business and we're still working our 9 to 5, so to speak. We're still working a job because we're, you know, you got to survive, you're eating, you know, those types of things. And at what point do you stop and say, this is my full time? And you really have to judge that. And having a budget and having these types of things that we're talking about, obviously, obviously will help us to decide of when that point is that we can actually begin to do this on a full-time basis, if that's not the way we start out. So just evaluating these things, and as time goes, those things will change. Got a few steps for talking about creating a budget. I'm not going to spend a whole lot of time here, but I do think it's important to understand that you got to determine how much money you want to take home. And then you got to determine how much you want to leave in the business, how much you want to save. And I want to challenge you to think of fixed expenses and variable expenses a little different. Most of the time when we're thinking fixed expenses, variable expenses, we're thinking about fixed expenses are things that are the same every month, right? I know that my rent, my office rent, or my rent for my facility, or whatever those things, payment is going to be the same every month. Well, then there's other expenses that are variable that fluctuate. So for example, the utilities, your Duke, and those type of things may fluctuate each month. But I want you to think about it from the standpoint, fixed expenses are things that you have to pay. It's not necessarily that they are the same every month, but these are things that I have to pay. My energy bill, my Duke or my Piedmont gas or what have you, it may fluctuate from one month to the next, but it is something that I have to do. So it is a fixed expense because I have to take care of this each and every year. And then the variable could be things that maybe I can do without. So knowing what those things are in case of a downturn in revenue or sales are always important to understand which things are going to be I have to do, and which things maybe are great luxuries or things that could fluctuate from one month to another, whether I need to do it or not. And then automate wherever possible. Automate wherever possible, because we know as a business owner, and many of us are juggling many things, right? We may be juggling a job, we're doing our business, we have family responsibilities and all those types of things. So wherever possible, automate those things to make your life easier. So again, talking a little bit about the components, your income, your savings, your fixed expenses, your variable expenses, and then your bottom line. So here is a key thing that I really want to touch on, because I think it's very, very important. We need to make sure that we're separating our personal and our business finances. We need to keep them separate. And it's a mindset. You know, we have to draw the line between what is my household money and what is my business money. And especially if you're a solopreneur, or maybe you're a single person LLC and you don't have other people that you are necessarily accountable to, it really is important that we keep that mindset. It can help us when it comes to taxes. You know, certainly the tax preparation part is much easier if you have clear distinctions between what is personal and what is business. Also, when it comes to applying for credit, when it comes to doing things that we need to do to get access to capital or those type of things, is having that clear separation. And when you are doing things in terms of, she mentioned earlier about getting government contracts and those type of things, you certainly want to make sure that you're separating your personal and business expenses. That is vitally important. So, all right. So just again, some key factors, different institutions that you want to be working with and that type of thing. And I just listed some financial records that you want to keep, cash register tapes, etc., bank accounts, those types of things. And then I'm going to actually kind of finish up here with the 5 C's to access to capital. These are the 5 that we know that you should consider when you're trying to access capital. That's what are you bringing to the table? Collateral, capacity to repay, character in the economic conditions. Those are vitally important things that each lender, as you're looking at, will look at those things. And finally, you just want to make sure you got a great team. You want to make sure that you have a great team of advisors, you know, in every area of your business and your personal life. And then, you know, we do offer coaching. We offer free, no obligation counseling session, coaching session that we can talk about how to scale and what we can do to help you in terms of making sure your business is ultra successful. So that's my time.
Thank you, Tony. And I see several questions here.
All right.
One of them is maybe it's a comment. Some business owners use all the money to pay and purchase, but don't set themselves a salary.
Yeah, you know, that's very important, is to make sure that you do put yourself on a salary. Because as business owners, a lot of times we're putting everything back in the business and we're forgetting about, you know, that we need to make sure that we're taken care of and that type of thing. So that's a very good point.
I don't see questions, actually. Very well, thank you. We
All
can
right.
still send
Thank you.
your presentation to the attendees.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
You ready?
Melissa, hi. Yes.
Hi. Well, hello. Good afternoon, everyone. We are ready for our next drawing. So the person who answers the question correctly on our chat will win our prize, which is a wireless keyboard and mouse and a laptop bag. So the question for today is, which military unit has been located in Jacksonville, North Carolina?
You might have got it. Looks like.
Wow.
So
the winner is
Sarah got
Sarah.
that one this time around, because I think she second the last
correct
time.
answer is Marines, and that will go to Sarah Arredondo. Congratulations. Yay.
So Sarah, again, if you will also send me an email, that way we can connect and I can meet you somewhere to give you your gift. Thank you.
Awesome. Congratulations. And I hope all of you are enjoying these sessions. So our next one is going to start at 4:55, and just go to the agenda, click on the link, and that's for our MWBE subcontractor of the year. So after this session, just go ahead and click on the link and join our next one.
Thank you. Thank you, Tony.
Maria, I see that M. McKay is asking for your email address. So if you can pop that in the chat before you leave out.
Perfect. We'll do that right now. Done. Thank you.
Thank you. You sent it directly.
No, I sent it to, whoa, I sent it to Tony. I'm sorry. Let me change my, to everyone, just in case.
Okay, see you over there.
There you go. Thank you.